Everyone's ready to figure out how to actually make our little deck then. So the simple way we are going to do this is with an array. We're going to make an array of decks, size 52, because there are 52 cards in a deck. I have not deck. Oh, right. You gotta go card deck equals card 52. Forgetting the new keyword again. But yeah, so this says create an array of cards size 52. Yeah, I have yet to actually cover what an array is, which is why I'm going to do now. So if you recall, if you declare something as an int, sorry, not used to working with a mouse. It go gets a space of memory. This is a very, very bad rectangle, and says, hey, whatever is in here is an integer. Whatever, it's in this case it's 0. But if you want a collection of integers, say in a row, you can think of it as this is exactly what an array is. Although, depending on where you draw it, this might be the first element, this might be the second element, just because things are reversed. So in this case, if you declared something as an integer array with 4 elements, you'd get something that looks a little bit like this data structure right here. Something to note is that the very first element in an array is called element 0. It may not make that a little bit of sense. It will once, well, no, if you know anything about pointers and how they relate to arrays, which sort of, again, is getting super ahead. Well, not super ahead, because it's just a little step up, but it's not really particularly relevant at this level of Texas Hold'em, and it probably won't be for the entire program because, in all honesty, it's going to be very poorly optimized, and both for memory and speed, it's really just sort of a learning example project for you. But anyways, there you have it. If you can, obviously arrays can be of any data type, which includes our little card class. So we're going to have a card array. We're going to have 52 of these boxes, and each one of those boxes is going to represent a card. Obviously, one for each unique card in the deck. So what we're going to do is make a for loop. If you don't know what loops are, basically there are a couple different kinds. There's while loops, for loops, enhanced for loops, which is a concept in Java, not in C++, which iterate through an array by its memory location. Again, getting a little ahead of ourselves though. For this instance, well, no, in general, if you want to decide between a while loop and a for loop, it's if you have some condition you want to execute until it's false, you should just use a while loop. But if you know the number of iterations you actually want to go through, then you're going to want to use a for loop. Since we want to only go through this loop 52 times, one for each card, we're going to use a for loop. I'm going to go int I equals 0, and initializer, you will see this is basically creating a super temporary variable called I and setting its initial value equal to 0, while I is less than 52. It could also be, actually, I think we want to go deck.length, which returns the length of this array, being 52 elements, actually. You can hard code this to be a constant, or even, I don't know, some little Boolean statement. But in this particular case, it's just say, hey, if we already know what the deck length is, you don't have to insert another constant in there. But this value is going to be 32 anyway. And then I++. So this says, hey, whenever the loop is finished with its first execution, increment it. So we're actually gonna get some cards. We just completed that. Make a deck. So we can get rid of this because we just moved it up here. Again, braces, and we are going to start off and say, hey, the deck position at I is going to be equal to a number and a suit. So what we are actually going to do is create two dummy variables called initial num and initial suit. Initial num is going to equal 2, and we'll just start off with our initial suit being not an int, it's a string, but we'll just start off with diamonds because they're a girl's best friend and everyone likes girls, so, well, except other girls sometimes, but they're generally bitches whenever they crap. 6 minutes in, shouldn't have said that. Hopefully you don't think less of me. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I say mean things sometimes. Anyways, moving on. So deck I is going to be a new card. With initial num. Initial suit. Because I spelt them wrong, right? Oh, initial. Well, intial. So we'll fix it like that. Then we're gonna test to see. If what do we want? Yeah. Then we're gonna iterate initial num. So if initial num is 15, right? Because that means, hey, the very next time we iterate, go back up here, it's going to be some value we don't know. We want this initial num to actually reset itself to 2. And then we want to switch suits. Yeah. Oh wait. We might want to. Well, no, the struggle here is I don't want too many of lines to just switch a suit. So I think we'll just handle this, and it's going to look super ugly, but it's basically just going to switch suit to well, no, you alternate red card, white card, well, yeah, not white card, red card, black card, red card, black card. So we started off with diamonds, so we want a black suit next. So that's where this club comes in. And I think what we'll actually do is we'll make a little nested if statement that says if initial suit is diamonds, make it clubs. Let's just copy and paste. Everybody likes copy and paste. It saves the world so much time. If it's diamonds, make it clubs. If it's went too far. If it's clubs, we make it hearts. That's the other red suit. If it's hearts, we make it spades. I made these plural. Do I want to do that? Sorry, everybody. That's. Oh wait, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter there. It's just we should decide on a standard naming convention now, so we don't get confused later. I feel like this is actually what we're gonna want to go with. We're naming the suits by pluralizing them, right? Because you don't say you have an ace of diamond or an ace of spade. You have the ace of spades, if that S on it. So there you go. Do we want to make these else ifs? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to save it pretty much any time. Initial plus plus. Okay, so there you go. Again, we're going to want to test this. Oh, sorry. Actually, you know what? What I want to do is say, hey, I want to move all of this into its own little function. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a function that returns a card array. We're going to call it make deck. But we're going to move this loop into this function because we want to keep our main function looking pretty clear because it doesn't know what initial suit and initial these two are. That's where all those red lines are coming up. Didn't copy and paste enough of it. And then also it doesn't know what a deck is. Man, hold on. I want to fix all of these spacings. It's one of those things where it doesn't really matter, but it kind of matters a lot. Because A, spacing makes things easier to read for both the programmer and anyone that's reading the code. And then B, well yeah, that's actually, there is no B. That was A and B both together. So again, we want this card deck equals card 52. New card 52. Keep forgetting that little keyword there. And rather than saying, hey, this, we go, hey, make deck. And it's a function. Non-static method cannot be referenced from static context. Public static. I don't know. It shouldn't be static though, should it? Oh, actually, we're gonna keep the public keyword because that's fine. That should be here. What actually happened is I forgot to return deck at the end of the function. Right, that's what this error was coming up. This array is only written to, never read from. Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll say it takes an array, which means we don't need this statement. And if it takes that array, we'll use it to initialize everything, not create it. We get rid of this. Actually, don't get rid of it. We move it to right here. Card deck equals new card 52, which means we don't need this. We just need to call make deck with deck. It's probably still going to give you that static error, isn't it? Non-static method cannot be referenced from a static context. Public static void. And that fixed everything. Static variables mean different things. Actually, I'm hesitant to just remove the statics and ignore it as a context for now because it's not really super important. Static variable declaring things as static is actually sort of one of the workarounds as to making your own global variables. If you remember what a global variable was, I honestly can't remember if I covered it or not, but it's a variable that's constant throughout the entire program. So it's just sort of making main accessible from anywhere, but really you don't really want main to be accessible from anywhere. You just want to access it once at startup. So anyway, there you go. Let's test this out. For int I equals 0, I is less than dec.length, I++, system.out.println dec I dot toString. Run it, and let's see what happens. No main class is found. So that's what the static keyword does. Actually, you know what? I think you can just go run file. If you right click it, does not have a main method. Alright, so apparently you actually do need the static keyword for the main function, which means this gives you an error. So we have to make this static as well. Not super happy with that, but sometimes you gotta make compromises. And there you go. Let's see, does it 2 through 10 of diamonds, face cards of diamonds. 2 through 10 of spades, face cards of spades. Did it switch to spades? Oh. It's because we. Oh, yeah. No wonder. Again, logic error. If you set the suit to clubs, it's automatically going to switch. This if statement is going to be true if it's diamonds. So it's basically saying, hey, if it's diamonds, make it clubs. If it's then that clubs becomes a heart, then that heart becomes a spade. So what actually we need to fix this around a little bit. The easiest way I'm thinking of is just moving these. If you switch up the order on these a little bit, then it starts off being diamonds to become clubs. Then it starts off being clubs and becomes hearts. Then it starts off being hearts and becomes spades. So this should work. This should work now. Little logic errors, people, happen all the time. Diamonds, 2 through the ace of face. I meant to say ace of, but I mean it's also a face card. So that showed up. Clubs. We got diamonds, clubs, hearts, spades. So yay! We have our full deck. I guess I'll just cut it short here because I don't know, to start with shuffling, it'd make the video a lot longer than half an hour, and that's sort of the next step. I apologize for my crass comment earlier. I'm feeling super bad about that, but you live, you learn. I don't really have the time to explain myself, nor is it the context. I'll just say super apologies all around. So yeah, see you later.